Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sam Heine here with Family Realty, and today I'm going to talk about a loophole that you can use to spend less money in cash up front on a down payment when you're buying a house without having to sacrifice on the amount of equity that you actually have in that house in the short term. Sounds interesting, huh? Let's dive right into it. A lot of people are led to believe these days that the only way to buy a house is to put a full 20% or more down on that house. So if you're talking about a $200,000 house, you're talking about having $40,000 cash at the closing table. If you're talking about buying a $400,000 house, you're talking about having $80,000 cash at the closing table. And while it's a great strategy to put a higher amount down to avoid added costs like monthly mortgage insurance, higher interest payments, and overall security if you ever needed to sell quick, I'm here to tell you that you've got options when buying if you don't feel like sinking tens of thousands of dollars into a down payment right away. Now, of course, you have your options like VA loans if you're a veteran, where you could put as little as 0% down, FHA loans, which is a federal housing program for folks with less money for housing that allows you to put 3.5% down, and then even on a conventional financing, you can qualify for a 5% down payment on a home if you plan on moving into it and making it your primary residence. But no matter which of these avenues you choose to go down, do not overlook the options that a little sweat equity can give you on top of that. So if you do plan on putting less money down, I would advise that you really hone in with your realtor on the areas of the houses that you're looking at that you can upgrade, add some value to, clean up a little bit, that would add value to the house and boost the equity that you have in the house as a byproduct, which would impact the sale price that you could then turn around and sell it for whatever you go to sell. Let's say, for example, that you want to buy a $350,000 house and you decide that you want to reserve a little bit of your cash for repairs and upgrades to the house along the way. So you decide to go for a 5% down conventional mortgage on the financing. It isn't that tried and true 20% down number that we've always heard about from our parents, but let's see if we can't solve that problem through the powers of a little bit of sweat equity on the front end. Let's say this home was a little bit outdated in the kitchen, the floors could be refinished, and the overall color scheme and aesthetic could really be much better. But the house itself is in your dream neighborhood and has exactly what you need. On a house like this, there's a trade-off where you'll of course be taking on the responsibility to update and clean the place up, ideally for a lower price point than what the home could be worth with the right TLC. That's a good thing. So let's say you spend some of the extra cash you saved on the down payment towards sprucing up the place and brightening up that outdated kitchen. Let's say, for the sake of keeping this nice and simple, that you spend $25,000 over the course of your first 3 years there to knock out those projects. And let's also say that by spending that $25,000 to improve the home, that you raise its value by $35,000 above where you bought it 3 years prior. All of a sudden, you have that 5% equity from the down payment plus an extra $35,000 on top of that from the improvements you made, which equates to an extra 10% on the original purchase price. So not only do you make back that sunken $25,000 in value and potential resale, but you also tag on an extra $10,000 on top of that just by cleaning up and optimizing the space for the next person. And that isn't even taken into account any type of mortgage payoff over that time frame and the natural appreciation that would have occurred from simply owning a piece of real estate for that 3 years, which can of course ebb and flow from neighborhood to neighborhood. But in essence, what you did there was you took that relatively smaller 5% down payment number and you added 10% equity to it over the course of 3 years, simply by rolling your sleeves up and taking advantage of the opportunities that that house presented to you. So this type of strategy maybe has a couple of extra headaches along the way than buying a house that's more move-in ready, but if you're looking for something exclusively that's move-in ready and updated to the nines, you're going to pay much more of a premium for that in a market like we're seeing right now. If you're looking for the best deal on a new house right now, being open to any level of sweat equity really is going to give you a huge advantage over the buyers that are not open to that level of sweat equity. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in 2022 and you need a realtor that can help you identify those opportunities and make the best moves possible, I would love to be your realtor or answer any questions that you might have. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always around with my finger on the pulse. So give me a call anytime. My number is 502-500-6469. I would be happy to help.